We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Disseminate propaganda to influence people's minds, and this is a major function of the CIA.
Hussein and his regime are concealing their efforts to produce more weapons of mass destruction.
Welcome back to Notify America. We have multiple pressing stories to get to, stories that have war bubbling up around the world and about to spill over to the U.S. as Yemen's Houthi fighting force announced they are mobilizing to enter Gaza. We have the video, by the way, a pretty motivational video, to be honest, if you were from Yemen. Also, breaking overnight, North Korea's Kim Jong-un has threatened nuclear retaliation if faced with provocation by the U.S. and by its allies. We also have breaking news that during the Biden-Xi summit in California a few weeks ago, Biden was given a warning about China's plan, a plan that has never been shared with any of us, and we have new footage released from the IDF showing just how sophisticated these Hamas tunnel systems really are. And guess where they learned how to build them? Who trained them to do this? Wait till you hear about this. But before we get started, press the like button and subscribe. Yesterday, per Reuters, Houthi leader Abdelmalek al-Houthi warned, "We will not stand idly by if the Americans target our country or wage war against it. Any American targeting of our country will be targeted by us, and we will make American battleships, interests, and navigation a target for our missiles, drones, and military operations." Now, for some context, this statement was released following the U.S.-led coalition of Navy ships to counter Houthi attacks in the Red Sea. And earlier in the day, Sputnik reported that a general mobilization is now underway in northern Yemen by the Houthis to send forces into the Gaza Strip. This was allegedly stated by their political bureau, along with this well-produced video that they released, which includes their soldiers marching over the U.S. flag. Watch this. Look, the entire world seems to be going up in flames right now. We have multiple hot wars raging. We just lost or are about to lose the proxy war that we spent over $100 billion taxpayer dollars on in Ukraine, and we have Biden being delivered a message directly by China's president, Xi Jinping, at the summit they held in California 2 weeks ago. Per CNBC, Xi warned Biden during the summit that Beijing will reunify Taiwan with China. The Chinese leader's message in San Francisco got the attention of U.S. officials because it was delivered at a meeting that was intended to reduce tensions. Here's what they say happened. Chinese President Xi Jinping bluntly told President Joe Biden during their recent summit in San Francisco that Beijing will reunify Taiwan with mainland China, but that the timing has not yet been decided. Now, when you look at the larger geopolitical situation right now, you have to be blind to not see the United States is losing control. Whether for better or for worse, we're supposed to keep the peace around the world. At least that's the narrative. Well, Joe Biden has epically failed at doing that. So when you turn on corporate media, the question they keep asking is, what will the world look like if Donald Trump's reelected in 2024? I think the better question is, what will the world look like if Donald Trump isn't reelected in 2024? What we're seeing right now is like the perfect recipe for some major escalation. All the parties involved right now have one thing in common. They hate the United States. We're involved in a proxy war with Iran vis-a-vis Israel, a second proxy war with Russia vis-a-vis Ukraine, which we're on the verge of losing, Venezuela feeling emboldened enough with everything going on, emboldened enough to invade its neighbors, Xi Jinping telling Biden to his face that he's going to take Taiwan back, whether peacefully or with force, that it's going to happen. And now we have the Houthis mobilizing to enter the Gaza Strip. Not to mention Kim Jong-un threatening nuclear retaliation yesterday if provoked. Like, what do all these players have in common? They all want to see the U.S. and the West, but primarily the United States destroyed, or at least dismantled, to look completely different than it does now. This has all the earmarks of some major conflict that could easily erupt into a world war. It sounds crazy, and it's even crazier to imagine it's taken just 3 years to bring the world to its knees. Look, I'm not trying to toot Trump's horn, but what just happened with North Korea is a perfect example of what's wrong with our foreign policy right now. Kim Jong-un makes a nuclear threat, and like, what do? The US, South Korea, and Japan ramp up joint air drills instead of meeting with him, talking. Remember this?
My friend.
반갑습니다. Good to see you again. 이런 데서 각하를 만나게 될 줄 생각 못했어요. I've never expected to meet you at this place.
That's good. That's my honor. Would you like to accept the cross?
각하께서 한 발자국 건너시면 사상 처음으로 우리 땅을 밟으시는 미국 대통령이 되십니다.
I'm okay with it.
Forward. You will be the
I'd be
first
very
U.S. president to cross the border.
I'd be very proud to do that. Okay, let's do it.
In another story out of Israel, the IDF just released footage showing just how elaborate Hamas's tunnel systems really are. The footage you're looking at was released this week by Israel. This is allegedly one of their underground complexes used by Hamas leaders. This is where the money we send them goes, by the way. We've been sending billions of dollars, billions of taxpayer dollars intended for humanitarian aid, and instead of helping the Palestinian people, it's been used to build this elaborate underground city. Now, in comparison to what the U.S. military has underneath the U.S., it's like child's play. If you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, look up Raven Rock in Pennsylvania. It's only like one of dozens of underground military bases that we have stateside. Raven Rock just happens to be public, meaning, its location and its purpose have been made public. It's still super top secret, but it's been officially recognized. You could Google it, see the images, and read about it. Now, these complex tunnels that they've built with air filtration, ventilation, running water, electricity, internet access, where do you think they learned how to do that? From us, from the CIA. All right, that wraps up this episode. Press the like button and subscribe.